Alright, class, let's begin today's yoga session. So you can take your place on your mat or the floor and get ready for Tadasana or mountain pose. Get your body nice and tight, starting up at your head, moving all the way down through the bottom of your feet. And let's take some of that energy from the meditation session before this and bring it to the yoga session. Some of that experience that you gained, let's bring it right into this portion of the session. I recommend having your eyes shut right now. So you can really tune in with your body and how it feels. And let's lift our arms as you inhale for double arm lift. Reach up overhead. And keep your breathing about the same as in Tadasana pose. And exhale, bring your arms back down. Reset. Inhale, lift your arms back up. Reach overhead. We're going to lift our heels off the ground. Do a calf raise and come to your toes and the balls of your feet. Try to balance. And if you lose your balance, just reset. That's okay. You're going to notice me lose my balance here in a bit. So that's totally fine. Just come right back to center and start again. Exhale, lower your arms back down. Inhale, get ready. Lift your arms back up. And just slightly tilt your head back. Look up towards the ceiling or sky. Exhale, lower your arms back down. Let's get ready for Uttanasana, or standing forward bend pose. Inhale, lift your arms, draw them down, and then go right into the forward bend. So we're really going to relax those posterior muscles, so all the muscles of the back side of your body, we want them to be loose and relaxed. And we want gravity to do the work right now. Let's use our hips and our torso to sway side to side, adding in some movement. You can keep your knees slightly bent if you want, if that's hard to actually get down all the way. You'll see as you improve, you'll be able to get your legs straighter in Uttanasana. It's also important to keep your head down and relaxed. Inhale to come up to halfway lift. You can modify it by keeping your hands above your knees in halfway lift, or challenge yourself by keeping your hands below your knees on your shins. Most important to keep your back flat and your head up, slightly looking straight ahead or at an angle down. So we want those hips to be pushed back, those hamstring muscles active, and our back muscles active too, keeping the back flat. Let's exhale down back into Uttanasana. So your head's pointed down and relaxed. We don't want those neck muscles too active. You can add some hip movement and torso movement if you want. Let's come into halfway lift another time. And let's relax back into Tadasana again. Let your body recover. Double arm lift. Let's come back into Uttanasana. Still pay attention to your breath. Feel the sensations of your body. One more halfway lift. And let's come all the way back to standing in Tadasana to rest and recover. Let's get ready for a new pose, Utkatasana, or chair pose. So we're going to bend our knees and drive our hips back like we're sitting down into a chair. You can lift your arms over your head or just angled out to the side slightly if you want. You'll see me switch between the modification and the pose with my arms over my head. You can pick either one, whatever's more comfortable for you. You can also keep a slight bend in your torso at an angle. And relax, stand all the way back up, lower your arms down. Brief moment to rest. Inhale back into Utkatasana. Make sure to just check your feet every so often to make sure they're in line. Notice that my feet are actually angled out just slightly to allow me to get into a deeper squat or chair. Exhale, stand back up. Reset. One more time in chair pose. You can pick whatever arm angle you want and relax. Let's get ready for the hip hinge rotation pose now. So you can modify this by having your elbow just float off your leg, not quite touching your thigh, or you can use a block, a yoga foam block, or some object that will keep your elbow off your thigh while allowing you to rest on something. Make sure you're adding pressure into your palms, pressing your hands together. Make sure to rotate your neck so you can look up towards the ceiling or sky. If your body gets too fatigued, you can always come back to Tadasana and rest. When you're ready, restart the pose. You don't have to hold it as long as I do. Let's come back to center now if you're following along. And now for the right side. And let's relax, come back to center. Do Uttanasana one more time here. If you'd like, add some hip movement. And then stand up, coming up nice and slow. I'm going to introduce a new series right now called the Sun Salutation. So the Sun Salutation includes Uttanasana, Chaturanga, Upward Facing Dog, and Downward Facing Dog poses. So you can follow along with my movements, and I'll guide you through this specifically. So it always starts with a double arm lift. We'll see here shortly. That moves into Uttanasana. Then you'll move into the halfway lift. One more Uttanasana. And let's follow along here. Let's come down to that Uttanasana or forward bend. Come up to halfway lift. Back down to Uttanasana. Place your hands on the mat. You can step back and come into a push-up position. If that's comfortable for you, I'm going to show you the modification. You can come down to your knees and kneel down. So next is the Chaturanga, or the half motion of the push-up to lower your body towards the ground. We're going to place our hands just underneath our shoulder for the upward facing dog. We want our elbows pointed back, our shoulders active, pulled down and back. And you're going to lift your body up by pressing your arms. We want to relax the whole anterior side of our body, so that's the whole front side. Using that posterior side and our arms. And I also forgot to mention to untuck your toes so the tops of your feet are on your mat or the floor. We're going to push our hips up and back for downward facing dog, coming to a pike. We want to be strong throughout our arms and press our head through that space in between our arms. And you can see me bicycling my feet up and down individually, trying to get my heel to touch the mat one at a time. So you're going to bend a knee, try to touch that heel to the ground, and then switch. And then the way to modify downward facing dog is to bend your knees and just hold the pose like that. You'll see later on, I'll come to that modification. So you can see right here, that's the modification. And then the full pose is getting your knees as close to lockout as possible. And then the way to progress this pose is to get your hands and feet closer together while getting your heels to touch closer to the mat and eventually get them to touch the mat. And then to reset, you come back to Uttanasana, a halfway lift, touch your hands back to the ground, and stand back up. Okay, take a moment to rest. We're going to do this one more time. Inhale, lift your arms into forward bend. Reach down, come up to halfway lift. One more forward bend, place your hands on the mat. Jump your feet back or walk them back. Come to the push-up position or the kneeling position. When you're ready, lower your body down for chaturanga. It's the half motion of the push-up. Ready for upper facing dog. Check your hands, make sure they're underneath your shoulders, and press. Arching your body up, keeping those back muscles active while the anterior side, those muscles stay relaxed. And you can look up slightly, keeping your gaze up at an angle. You don't have to bend your head back that much. Let's come to downward facing dog, so shoot your hips up and back, coming to a pike, and then you can bicycle your feet up and down individually, trying to get that heel to touch the ground or get it close. And if you need to rest, you can come to child's pose, which you learned in the earlier sessions, and rest in that pose. Let's come back to standing forward bend to end, halfway lift, one more forward bend, and you can stand up to relax. Take a moment to rest up and recover. You can prepare yourself for Virabhadrasana, the warrior series, plus the triangle pose at the end. Let's start with our right leg forward, left leg back. Front foot's pointed directly ahead and forward. Back foot is angled out slightly. Lean forward and come to warrior one. Lift your arms out in front, then overhead. Come to warrior two, so you can angle your hips now in a counterclockwise direction. Right arm's facing forward, left arm is facing back. We want to try to be as level as possible with our arms. Set your gaze just directly over the top of your right hand. Let's come to triangle pose, so straighten out that right leg. Lower your arm down your leg, and you can lean over while lifting that left arm up towards the ceiling. Make sure to rotate your neck and look up as well. Let's come back to warrior one, so you can rotate your hips so they're squared up. Lean forward, lift your arms overhead. One big step forward. And let's come to the other side. Left leg forward now, right leg back. Same setup. Just check your feet and your legs to make sure they're correct. Lean forward, square up your hips. Lift your arms out in front and then overhead for warrior one. Rotate your hips clockwise now for warrior two. And let's come to triangle pose. Straighten out that left leg. Lean over. Lift that right arm up towards the ceiling. Rotate and look up as well. Come to warrior one again. Bring your feet together. And let's come down to the floor for Vajrasana pose or saddle. You can angle your legs out. Start by sitting up, and you can lean back towards your feet. Just go as far as you can. Don't push it that hard if you can't get all the way down. And then just relax wherever you are. Now is a good time to close your eyes and start transitioning towards your mentality for the ending guided meditation. Just really relax. Let's lift our arms overhead. Come to child's pose, so straighten your arms out in front of you. Still keep your hips driving back. Let your head relax and just rest on the mat or floor. You can push back up into saddle pose one more time. You can get ready for meditation now, so pick your posture for that, either seated, legs crossed, or you can lie down on your back for Savasana pose. Then open up your Waking Up app and do the third session of the intro course.